Thank you for joining us today on Something to Think About with Pastor Mike, where the topics can range from current events, historical perspectives, practical Bible application, to whatever's on his mind today. People have stereotypes of what it means to be a Christian, and one thing's for sure, Pastor Mike loves breaking those stereotypes. Pastor Mike Hasseltine is the senior pastor of Maranatha Church with campuses in Forest Lake and Chisago, Minnesota. With over 40 years of practical pastoral ministry, Pastor Mike challenges us to be real people, loving a real God, right in the midst of all our real lives. Now, here's Pastor Mike.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome back.
Good morning.
Yes, I just realized, summertime, and I like to try to take as much as I can.
Yeah.
Which is never enough, but motorcycle trips. The motorcycle is calling.
Yeah. So it's not the road calling.
Trips. So, we were on a good 2-week motorcycle trip, and I was somewhere before that, so it's nice to be back live.
Yeah, for sure.
You listeners out there have had to listen to repeats, which I hope is not too boring, but we'll try to fix that. Do something different. Maybe have you and my wife, or have Jay and Mike or somebody run a program while I'm gone. You know?
I think we'd have fun, huh, Jay?
Jay, what do you think?
Well, considering sometimes I'm with you when you're gone.
I know, that is, yeah.
Other than that, I think it'd be great. Rob and I have a great time. You might lose a job.
Hey,
I don't see that
something?
happening.
I'm trying to give away as many jobs as I have. I am. I'm trying to give them away. In fact, just recently looking at this idea of, ministers and succession planning, 16%, only 16% of pastors are currently 40 or younger. All the way up to 40 and younger, 16%.
That's not much.
No, that's pretty slim pickings. Us ministers are getting older and older.
So how old were you when you became a senior pastor?
21.
That's pretty young to be a senior pastor.
Actually, I was a co-senior pastor. My dad had just gotten credentials, and I had credentials. I was a youth pastor for almost 2 years, and then together we started Maranatha. Yeah. And so, I was like 21.
It's kind of jumping in the deep end.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot that goes into being a senior pastor.
But, there's way more than what you can learn in college. I mean, real often, the people that I've hired coming out of college, I say, you've graduated, good for you, and now welcome to school.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the education, so where the real life hits the road. But I've always been kind of old for my age. I started kindergarten before I was 5, and started college when I was 17. Living on my own in an apartment at 17, working 40 hours a week, 18 credits in college. And so
you used to be
I'm a little ahead of the curve as far as being responsible and all that kind of thing. In fact, it's kind of funny talking about being responsible. I love my father-in-law. He's now with Jesus permanently, and he had this conversation with Orlean. What are you laughing at?
Sorry. Well, if he's with Jesus permanently, are the options with Jesus temporary?
Well, when we're here on earth with him, sometimes we walk away.
That's true. That's true.
So that call you so funny. No,
hit my funny bone.
Walking with the Lord in this life, sometimes we leave. We tell him to stay there. Don't come. Whatever.
That's right.
But no, he's forever.
He's a permanent fixture with Jesus.
He's a permanent fixture with Jesus. Praise God. Love the Lord. But he had shared with Orlean before we got married, because I had asked for her hand, and he was more nervous during that conversation than I was. It was kind of funny. But he did share with her, and I guess he did this with all of his daughters. Here's my opinion, or here's some of the concerns I have for your mate, your future husband. And one of them for me was that he was concerned if I was going to be responsible. Jim, wonder where he got that idea. I'd show up in my 68 Coronet RT, race tires on them, says right on them, illegal for highway use. I would burn out every night when I left. In fact, the neighbors would call them and say, hey, could you tell Orlean's boyfriend to not squeal his tires, every night when he leaves? And
wow.
That kind of thing. And I'd show up on a motorcycle, barefoot, shorts, nothing else.
So all of that to say he had a glimpse of a portion of your life. He didn't get to see the fullness of where you were responsible, maybe.
He didn't see where I was responsible, but it turns out, I think I've turned out to be fairly responsible.
He's not around to ask. I mean, we could ask Orly.
Yeah, I would like to
I'm
think
just
that
messing.
he perceived me and saw me grow into a very responsible person.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do love life a bunch.
You know, that is an interesting fact because people tend to go one way or the other. They seem to lean way too fun, not enough responsibility, or way too much responsibility and no fun.
And no fun.
So trying to weave that well is
I think I've mastered the balancing act.
good for you.
Because I live. So I live so much. Some people think I'm going to die any moment. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I've lived. I've, had kids. We've done great things together. I have exceeded, as far as working out. Being able to bench press more than a national record when I was 40 years old. Raced Grand Prix motorcycles, going over 140 miles an hour through turn one. I've raced modifieds, raced sprint cars. Built a race car for my wife. She drag raced. I've taken motorcycle trips to Timbuktu and back, and all over the. I mean, yeah, I've lived. I like life. In fact, my mom will tell me, Mike, when are you going to grow up? I tell her getting old is not an option, but growing up is.
Sadly, I think far too many Christians think it's not okay to enjoy life or to live life.
Yeah, euphoric phobia.
Yep. Now you've accepted the Lord. You can't love life anymore.
You gotta cinch it up.
That's what I mean. Breaking stereotypes. My whole life, I'm trying to break the stereotypes. Because you're right. It's the idea that it's almost like the more pious, the more religious that you get, the less fun you have, and you're poo-pooing this and you're poo-pooing that. Oswald Chambers said, the piety that denies the natural life is a fraud. And Jesus, when he walked this earth, he exposed the Pharisees for what they really were. A bunch of religious hypocrites, like pious people who denied the natural life.
Which, if that's your life bent, that's one thing. But if what you're doing is representing God and His
You
character
think that
and
is
His
holy.
love, then you're completely misrepresenting the Lord.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
If you think it's holy, or the more mature you get, that is somehow or another super spiritual, then that's the thing that just derails me. It just makes me go nuts. It has no inherent spiritual value. Even in Colossians, it says, why do you submit to rules and regulations? Do not touch, do not handle, do not taste, do all these things. These indeed have the appearance of promoting rigor of devotion, but are of no value in checking the indulgence of the flesh. I mean, bingo, ding, 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 ding.
Well, and in fact, it can do so much damage. It's not neutral.
No.
It's not neutral.
It perpetuates this fallacy of euphoric phobia. If it's fun, can't be spiritual, can't be good.
Don't do
the
that.
number of times I've heard people say, I've never seen a pastor do that before. And I go, you say that like as if I'm doing something wrong. When your statement was, you've just never seen a pastor do that before. But you're trying to indicate that I'm doing something wrong. Am I doing something wrong? Tell me, morally, what am I doing wrong? Well, they have no answer. Yeah. Anyway, we got zipping down right away. Boom.
We totally did.
Man, we're on this
back.
show. I'm back, and it's just fun to talk about these things. I would like to talk about the motorcycle trip that I was on with these 5 other guys.
Yeah, where did you guys go?
But let's just back up the train.
Backing up the train.
I have missed for 3 weeks now listening to you report the national things that are going on today. Yeah, the national days.
They're
I
very
love this
fun.
stuff.
Okay, so here we go.
Makes me laugh.
Today's National French Fry Day.
That's a good thing.
That's a good day.
That's a good day. Yeah.
Have you noticed how picky people are? I mean, we do have our opinions about what French fries are really good. Yeah, we do. It's National 7-Eleven Day.
Wow, when's the last time you've been to a 7-Eleven?
It's been a while.
Been a while since I've seen it.
Me too.
Yeah, there are
yeah,
a bunch of them
exactly.
down south. But
Every once in a while, I would run into a 7-Eleven just to get a Mr. Misty. Or what do they call those things? A slushie.
oh, sure.
Yeah, I love those things.
Yeah. It's also Collector Car Appreciation Day.
Oh, that's me every day, man. Jay, too. No. Yeah, we that's every day for us.
Well, inherent in that Appreciation Day is that it needs like more than one. I mean, you're not a collector if you just have
Mike, you
one.
qualify?
So you
Yeah,
guys kind of
I have more
qualify.
than one. But no, I disagree with you. If you have one, you're a collector. You've collected and you got one.
Really?
A hot rod, not just a driver. It's got to be a
collector car.
Well, it's got to be something that's, it's got some value to it. My wife has heard the lesson a zillion times. Now she understands it. But back in the day, she'd see an old car. She goes, "Oh, I'm like, no, that's just an old car." You know, if it's a Biscayne, it's a, whatever it is, a Buick, whatever, and it's old, that's just an old car. Now, if it's a Chevelle, a Roadrunner, Challenger, Super Bee, GTX, Firebird, Camaro, Mustang, I mean, if it's one of those, okay, now you're talking a collector car.
So you need to know some
You got to know
distinctions.
some stuff.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Jay, what do you think? Isn't that exactly right? An old car is just an old car. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a collector.
I agree. And 'cause sometimes I see these, hey, it's a 1986 Honda Accord and it's got collector plates
Ford
on it. And
Fairmont.
I'm thinking, you just don't want to pay taxes. Because nobody's fixing that up. But I have learned that our opinion, Pastor Mike, is subjective. I'm like, that's just an old car, but maybe to somebody, they're like, I've always wanted a four-door, 1972, whatever.
Maverick.
Ugh. No, I love the two doors.
I do love the two doors. The Maverick, the Ford Maverick Grabbers. Yeah, they had the scoops on the hood.
To get that going, but yeah, four-door Mercury Comet from 1972, not so much, but.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't mean to diminish anybody who likes a car that's not a collector car, but it's their car. They like it. They've taken care of it. Maybe it was their grandpa's. Maybe it's a replica of their very first car. There's something special about, especially in a lot of guys' lives, their first car. No, and I think that's cool, but that's not necessarily a collector car.
Right.
It has no value outside of the intrinsic value to that person. And if you have one of those, man, all the power to you. That's really cool.
Huh.
But a collector car is usually the kind of car that you buy for $10,000, and in a couple of years from now, it's worth $15,000.
And it stirs your soul.
It purrs. Yes, if it's got 500 horse under the hood, then it's even better.
Okay, so question for you. I had a 71 Buick Skylark.
Nope. That's just an old car.
That's just an old car. My mom and dad had a 65 GTO.
Okay, now we're talking.
They used to take that on the Atlanta Speedway.
Oh, yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah,
See, a 65 GTO, Pontiac GTO? Oh, yeah.
I got to drive it once.
You wish you owned one of those right now.
Do I?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you do. You'd have money in your pocket.
Wow.
Well, no, you wouldn't because you bought the car.
Yeah.
You'd have money in your garage.
There you go. I'd rather have money in other places. Anyway, so it's also National Mojito Day.
Is that a drink?
I think
What is that?
I believe that is a Mexican drink. I think it's got limes in it. All kinds of things I don't know about a mojito.
I don't know. I don't. No idea.
This one's going to sweep you off your feet. It's All American Pet Photo Day.
Pet Photo Day?
All American Pet Photo Day.
Oh, dear Jesus.
National Blueberry
Americans
Muffin
and
Day.
their pets.
Yeah, we do. I know. See, that was poking the bear. Sorry.
I'm gonna just be quiet.
Yep. National Blueberry Muffin Day.
I know you're one of those people. You love your little dogs.
I enjoy my dogs. Yes, I do.
But you're not like over the top.
I don't.
I don't think so. I don't think you are.
Either that or I'm fooling you real well. Okay. I'm not. National Rainier Cherry Day. Have you noticed they've started showing up at the groceries now?
I haven't noticed.
Oh.
I don't go grocery shopping.
Rainier Cherry. National Cheer Up the Lonely Day.
That's every day.
That's a great day.
That's every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to admit, I do
It's
try.
sad if they only get one day a year.
I know.
Well, they're lonely.
True.
So okay, so tomorrow you need to know it's National Simplicity Day and National Eat Your Jello Day.
No.
No?
What?
No. Not
No.
Jello.
What kind of Jello?
Eat your Jello
Oh,
Day.
eat your Jello. I thought you said like Easter Jello.
Easter Jello.
What's Easter
Where
Jello?
are
It's a
you
special
coming from?
Jello.
Yeah. Sunday is National Barbershop Music Appreciation Day.
Sunday, huh?
Sunday.
Jay, you got some friends you can sing and make up a barber's quartet?
Yeah, you, John Remington, Todd Gass.
Yeah, grab some of the bikers and form a little quartet up there.
Well, people won't be asking for a second song.
Yeah.
My husband and his siblings, his dad, when they were very, very small, he would sit them on the stairs and he taught them barbershop. And they would sing barbershop and they would go to different places, little bitty kids, all the way up. And to this day, every time we get together, they
sing.
Always sing. Yeah, they always sing.
They do.
Yeah, it's
Well, that's a treasure.
it is a
That's
treasure.
a gift in a family to be able to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, one of my favorites is when they all get together and they sing Beautiful Savior. It's just gorgeous.
Wow.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that's it for the national days. Well, Monday, okay, it's National Nude Day.
National Nude?
Yeah.
Well,
so,
there's nothing we can do about that.
well, no,
Not
except
that kind of church.
we don't swing like that.
National Nude Day. I'll have to remind
Just
my wife
be
in the
aware.
morning.
Just be aware. I mean, it's going on, so don't be shocked. You might find out more about people than you really want to know.
Staff meeting could be really interesting Monday morning.
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate button. Where's that? We had an inappropriate box for a while around here.
Yeah, we did.
It was really funny. We had fun with each other.
Yeah, I put too much money in there.
And going back to Barbershop Quartet, I was just thinking, how did that start? Did barbers just inherently have an ability to sing well in harmonies?
Huh.
No idea. Don't know the history at all.
Something to think.
Were they
I think
starting to sing to
Robin's,
patrons as they were sitting in the
Rain Man
chair, and they just were
Oh.
saying, and you get two or a couple of them together, and they
Maybe.
started to harmonize?
It says barbershop quartets originated in late 19th century African American communities where barbershops served as social hubs where men could gather, sing, harmonize while waiting for their haircuts.
Now we know.
Now we know. Yep, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Absolutely.
And if you're really serious, you're a member of Sebeska, which is the Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Quartet Singing in America. I'm sure I didn't pronounce that correctly, but anyway, that's that.
There's a club I will never be a part of.
Barbershop Quartet Singing.
Nope, just won't. I appreciate it. but
Great.
Nope, it's not my deal. Just not my deal.
So, what's on your mind today?
I got so much on my mind, it's not even funny. In fact, I have so much on my mind, it's confusing up there. Yeah, it's crazy. So somebody, because of the motorcycle trip and all that, somebody handed me this sheet. It says, things my motorcycle has taught me. Jay, here we go. I have not read these ahead of time. I'm just going to let them rip. I'm going to run through them and see what it says and see if we agree and see what you think about it.
Bring it on.
So, the only good view of a thunderstorm is in your rearview mirror.
Amen.
Amen. People ask us why we ride a motorcycle. And my thing to them is always, my response is, if I have to explain it to you, you're not going to understand it. For those who have experienced the joy, no explanation is necessary. For those who have not, no explanation is possible. There we go. I'd rather be riding my motorcycle and thinking about God than sitting in church thinking about my motorcycle. I do both. Okay, 4 wheels. Oh, I like this one. 4 wheels move the body. 2 wheels move the soul. That's embroidered in a little pillow. I have it in my garage, in my couch.
Nice.
The couch in my garage. Most motorcycle problems are caused by the nut that connects the handlebars to the saddle. True. That is true. The nut behind the wheel is a little loose. Life may begin at 30, but it doesn't get real interesting until about 60 miles an hour. I like that. I'd up the number, but... You know, at 115, the dotted yellow line on the highway turns solid. At about 115. 115 still isn't really fast. You don't really start focusing and get your attention until you're doing 130.
See, I don't know where to put that.
At 130, now you're alive and you're focused and you're. Because I used to do that all the time. 130 miles an hour, no problem.
Yeah, most of us don't understand that, but Pastor Mike has ridden
Yeah.
much faster than that on the track. as a racer.
I suppose. Well,
So it's-
okay, so deviating from your list just a second here, have you ever been in a significant motorcycle crash?
33 stitches in my left eye,
Really?
up and down my eye socket.
Was it on gravel?
It was on a dirt
On
bike.
dirt bike?
I hit a dog and then I crashed.
Okay.
Slammed my head into the ground.
How much road rash did you have?
Quite a bit. All the skin was missing off my hands. A lot of the skin was gone.
Ow.
But I had a helmet on, so
That's wonderful.
That's a wonderful
That probably
thing.
protected your life.
It probably did.
Yeah. No, because I think about speed now in relation to the significance of road rash. So how fast you go is how fast it goes.
Oh yeah, I can't even imagine. Seriously, I mean, when's the last time either of you have bumped your head on something? I mean, just bumped your head and it was really kind of a. The other day I did really significantly. I
Really?
bumped my head, and I was like, oh my gosh. So then I think if you're riding a motorcycle and you get in a crash,
Yeah.
I can't even begin to understand the hurt you'd be in.
Oh, well, the significance of the concussion. Yeah, if it doesn't
Some
do
people think
permanent
that
damage.
when they see a guy riding with a leather jacket on or leather pants and stuff, they think, oh, he's trying to be cool. No, it's practical.
I'd rather that be ground up.
Exactly. You
Really?
want to slide on that instead of your skin because it doesn't take long. Well, you crashed last summer on your pedal bike.
That's why I have so much respect for speed and
Yes.
momentum, because I had some road rash that took me a while to get over.
Yeah, if you crash on a motorcycle, I can't even imagine. I mean, I've visited some people in hospitals that have hit deer and gone down, and real often we're not dressed for the ride over the handlebars because they say don't dress according to the weather. Dress for a ride over the handlebars.
Yeah.
Well, most of us don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry I interrupted your list. Go ahead.
I gave somebody a ride one time on a motorcycle. We went over 140 miles an hour. They wanted to know what it was like to go over 100, so I took them over 140.
Did they enjoy that?
Yeah. She thought it was great.
Did that encourage her prayer life?
I'm sure. I'm sure it did. Yeah, it was dumb. I'll never do that again, though. I confess, that's like I did it, but it's like that was stupid. That was really stupid. I would never do that again.
You heard it here first, people.
That's right. In fact, in my old age, I'm beginning to slow down a little bit.
Can confirm.
There you go. I have testimony. I have disciplined myself to slow down a little bit.
Nice.
I want to keep riding. Okay, so you start the game of life with a full pot o' luck and an empty pot o' experience. The object is to fill the pot of experience before you empty the pot of luck. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you wait, all that happens is that you get older. I believe in that. You can wait around, nothing's going to happen. Jay, you're gonna like this. Midnight bugs taste just as bad as noontime bugs.
Again, can confirm.
Can't confirm. It's really true. It's like, saddlebags can never hold everything you want, but they can hold everything you need. Don't ride so late into the night that you sleep through the sunrise. Well, we've done that before, too. That's not always necessarily true. One time we were riding in the coast of California, and everything was booked. I mean, every hotel, every whatever. We had to ride inland for a couple hours. It was 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Way inland before we finally got a hotel. It was piping hot. It was like, wow.
See, that's the worst. When you've already decided it's time to find a hotel, and then you can't find one, that time span is agony. Before
Yes,
you, like...
It's not fun.
It is not fun.
Sometimes it takes a whole tank full of gas before you can think straight. Yep. I like that. Again, this is somebody handed this to me. Things my motorcycle has taught me. Riding faster than everyone else only guarantees you'll ride alone. Yeah, you end up doing a lot of waiting. If that's what your deal is, and over my lifetime I've done a lot of waiting. Never hesitate to ride past the last street light at the edge of town. Okay, well, I just got reminded it's time to take a station break. We're going to come back to this and more motorcycle fun and spiritual stuff. You're listening to Something to Think About with me, Pastor Mike, a production of WAJC, Your Life Radio on 88.1 and 91.7 FM. We'd love to hear from you. If you have questions or comments about today's show, email us at wajc@yourliferadio.com. If you're ever in the Forest Lake area, I'd love to personally invite you to join us for a Sunday morning service at 9:30 a.m. or Wednesday evenings at 6:30 p.m. There's something for everyone.
Something to Think About with Pastor Mike is a production of WAJC Your Life Radio, which is owned and operated by Maranatha Assembly of God in Forest Lake, Minnesota. You can find more information on the web at realchurch.org. Now, back to Something to Think About.
Hey, here we are. We are back, and I am going through this sheet that somebody handed me again, and I haven't read them ahead of time, so I'm just kind of going through them. It's things my motorcycle has taught me. So I'm going to continue. I'll try to go a little faster without making a comment on a lot of them. So, a bike on the road is worth 2 in the shed. How true is that? Young riders pick a destination and go. Old riders pick a direction and go. Boy, that's true. People ask me all the time, Pastor Robin, you know this is true.
Yeah.
Hey, where are you going? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to ride. Sometimes the fastest way to get there is to stop for the night. Yeah, that's good. Always back your bike into the curb and sit where you can see it. It's just fun to look at it. Isn't that right, Jay? Just fun to just look at your bike.
It is. I couldn't agree with you more completely.
Yep, it's just something about looking at them. When we ride together, all of our bikes lined up. Sometimes we end up taking pictures just of that. It's not even the scenery. It's our bikes all lined up together, just looking at the bike.
Something very orderly about that.
Yeah, there are drunk riders and there are old riders, but there are not many old drunk riders. Ride to work. Work to ride. Another one. Whatever it is, it's better in the wind. Yeah, I think so. Except for rain.
And hail.
Yeah, we rode through hail. That surprised us. You know, we don't have our helmets on. The speed limit was 80 miles an hour posted. And so we're just cruising along. And all of a sudden, literally sunshiny sky, all of a sudden, Montana is notorious for this. All of a sudden, boom, the sky is dropping hail.
Wow.
At 80 miles an hour, no helmets. We're just going, ow, 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 ow. It's trying to find cover, as we're getting pelted with hail.
And there are not too many bridges out there.
There's nothing out there.
Yeah, so.
Beautiful scenery, the mountains, but 2-lane blacktop isn't a highway. It's an attitude. Ooh, I like it. When you look down the road, it seems to never end, but you better believe it does. Winter is nature's way of telling you to test the electrics.
I'm not sure what that means.
Heated gear. I think it means the heated gear. In other words, you don't quit riding. You just make sure your electric heated gear is working.
I think our good friend Brian Collins would say winter is a good time to head south.
Yeah, head south.
And ride like he does down in Arizona and New Mexico.
That is what he does. Oh, man. Keep your bike... Excuse me. Keep your bike in good repair. Motorcycle boots are not all that comfortable for walking. That's pretty good. People are like motorcycles. Each is customized a bit differently.
Yep. That can be said for pedal bikes, too.
It can be said for a lot of things. I'm just trying to think, and I'm going to make sure I don't get myself in trouble. So I'm just going to move on from there.
Just hit it like a speed bump.
I'm just gonna go. I mean, yeah, what we choose to wear, how we choose to present ourselves is all usually a choice. Sometimes the best communication happens when you're on separate bikes. No, man, not you and I, Jay. On our trip to Alaska, we had the headphones going on. I laughed my way to Alaska and back. Jay is so funny.
He is funny.
Just laughing my head off. Even some community. Yeah, we're on separate bikes, but man, we're talking. I think what's implying here is that you can't hear your spouse when you're on separate bikes.
So, question for you. Do you guys have your own hand signals that mean things?
Oh, yeah. We don't talk about it ahead of time, but we all understand each other.
Okay.
When we're going. We can tell the difference if you're pointing at something or if you're saying, I'm turning left.
Okay, great.
We can tell the difference.
Nice.
I don't know why. It's inherent. I think it's just the spiritual aura of us. It's almost guru-ish. We spend enough time on. You're laughing at me on motorcycles and together that you just kind of like. You're like one.
It's like a school of fish.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. It's like a woman's sixth sense, but this is for men. Catching a yellow jacket in your shirt at 70 can double your vocabulary.
Ouch.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it feels like somebody punched you right in the chest. There's something ugly about a new bike on a trailer.
Yes, that's just sad.
People ask me all the time because, been out to Sturgis and all that. You go, and they talk about, I'm going to California. So, do you trailer it?
Oh.
I'm like, what? My bike has never been on a trailer. I mean, no, I ride it. My wife, she rode her motorcycle from Forest Lake to Cody, Wyoming in a day.
It's a hike.
That's well over 1,000 miles. I mean, she did it in a day.
I'm going to interject here. We're out west a couple years ago with our group, and Steve Picasello was having some issues with his bike, so we swing into this motorcycle shop, and the guy says, "What year is this?"
Yes,
and I think, what is it, 2012?
Yeah, something like that.
He
Yeah.
goes, "How many miles you got on it?" He says, 8,000. Guy says, "Shame on you."
Yes, right, he did. He did. It was hilarious. Shame on you. That's terrible. Everyone crashes. Some get back on, some don't, some can't. Boy, that's the truth. If you can't get it going with bungee cords and duct tape, it's serious. Oh, I like it. If you ride like there's no tomorrow, there may not be. The best modifications cannot be seen from the outside. Oh, that's true. We're talking about internals. Heads ported and polished, cam in it, hotter ignition system. You don't see any of that stuff. Always replace the cheapest parts first. Yes. You can forget what you do for a living when your knees are in the breeze. Yeah. Only a biker knows why a dog sticks his head out the car window. There are two types of people in the world. This is the last one. There are two types of people in the world. People who ride motorcycles and people who wish they could ride. There you go. Seriously, because you don't ride a motorcycle.
No.
But do you, every once in a while, when you hear people talking about riding a motorcycle, do you have an inner like, I wonder what that, I'd kind of like to do that. No?
No,
Not at all?
Well, my husband has had a motorcycle
Yeah.
for years, and so when we got together, we did a lot of riding and enjoyed it and all that kind of stuff. But I find that sense of
exhilaration, freedom.
It's the craziest thing, but in a go-kart.
In a go-kart.
In a go-kart. I become a different...
Robin is a go-kart hellion.
I become another person in
Wow.
a go-kart. But I don't happen to have one any longer. We had some...
Sounds like you shouldn't.
No, we had some for
Probably
the
hurt
kids.
yourself.
Exactly. So...
That's
But yeah,
wild.
no, I ride my pedal bike like you said, and I really enjoy that. But
I rode my bicycle past your window last night. I roller skated past your door at midnight. I don't even know who sings that or what
I
it
don't
was.
know,
and
but
where,
it's a
I don't even know where
creeper.
that came from.
it's a creeper. Stay away
like-
from the window.
Wow. It's like, wow. On the trip we ride, there really is just something about this idea of fellowship. You're there, you're spending that much time together. It's better to be with people you like, because when you spend a lot of just time with people, you either really get irritated by some of the smallest things and miss the joy. Thankfully, honestly, this group of guys that we just took this trip with, we've done the same trip. We've done trips with the same group of guys because we all get along so well. Nobody is ever in danger of getting the little wrench on this trip.
You might have to explain the little wrench.
The little
to
wrench.
us.
Okay, for our listeners. So years ago, it was started that if on a motorcycle trip, if you complain, you get the little wrench. It's a little adjustable wrench. It's little. It's like 2 inches long. And that is a sign of shame. That is, you complained. And you got to be, you can't just say, complain about your boots. Oh, my boots are too tight. We don't care.
It's hot.
It's hot.
That's fine.
That's fine. It's when you complain about, well, why are we eating here? Why are we stopping here? Why did we ride so long? How come we didn't take this way? It's this complaining about a choice, a decision that was made in the trip. So years ago, I'd invite some people on a trip, and I'd say, listen, I want you to know, I'm inviting you. This is my trip. I made it really clear before we left.
Yep.
This is not a group trip. This is my trip. I'm inviting you. Do you want to come? Because here's the rules. There's no complaining. If we ride through the rain, if we ride until 2 o'clock in the morning, if we take a right and when you wanted to take a left, I don't care. It's just no complaining. And thus the little wrench. And if you got the little wrench, you want to get rid of that thing because, like I said, it was a thing of shame. You don't want that thing. So. Okay, I got to back. It's a funny story. So, I hope it's interesting to our listeners, and I'm not boring you half to death. But so the first time Steve Ficasello comes along, he's the oldest guy in our group. You'd never know it because he's energetic and healthy and all that. But every time I see him, I said, Steve, how you doing? He said, man, thanks for inviting me, man. This was the greatest trip. I've never done anything like this my whole life. Spent this kind of group with guys riding on a motorcycle day after day on a trip. Most people don't know what that's like. So every single time I talked to him, he was just energetic, alive, just like, oh, thankful. This is just great. Had a great time. Well, on that same trip, another guy, we had ridden quite a long time. Everybody's butts were sore. Everybody's backs were sore. It was hot. We pulled over for just a moment by a gas station, but we didn't go into the gas station like we were going to stop. And one guy pulls up to me and says, Pastor Mike, he said, I'm done. I'm so done. That earned him the little wrench. Now, I didn't give it to him at that moment. I waited till we got back home. Sunday morning, I asked for these two fellas to come forward. And these two guys are kind of wondering, what's this about?
So this is being invited up on the platform on a Sunday morning with
at
lots
church.
of people around. Okay.
Yes, that first Sunday back, when I was back, I explained to everybody the little wrench situation, talked a little bit about our trip. Jay, go ahead. You want to say something?
Well, I just remember talking to Steve, and he said, I had 2 goals on this trip. I wanted to keep up with everyone, and I didn't want to get the little wrench.
There you go.
Yep.
Worthy goals.
So that was his first trip.
When he calls him up, Steve's like, I don't think I complained. Why?
That's right. That's a great history. That's true. I just want to keep up, and I don't want to get the little wrench. So they're standing up there on the platform, and I hand a little wrench to the one guy, and I explained to him this is what he did. He complained, I am done. I'm so done. And Jay, you and I, we all in this group too, that phrase has stuck with us. When things get difficult or whatever else, we will say, I'm done. I'm so done.
True that.
So I handed him the little wrench, explained it, handed the little wrench, and then I pulled out this 3-foot, monstrous wrench. And I gave that to Steve. Now, I've never done that before, but I just thought it was appropriate. And told everybody that he came on this trip, the oldest one in the group. He never complained. He loved every minute of it. So, Steve, here, I give you the huge wrench. Okay, so on this trip, now we're talking 4 years later or so, we're on this trip, we rode through 2 days of rain. Low 40 degrees. Even rain gear is not designed to keep you dry in a continuous rain, riding all day. So we are all freezing cold. Our feet have been numb for hours. Your hands are horrible, cold, unless you got heated grips and heated gloves, which some of the guys do, which is smart.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. So we're freezing. We finally stop, for the day, and Steve.
We stopped at a gas station, so it was still
that's right.
We had a lot of riding left.
That's right. And so he comes walking over and just proclaims to all of us. He said, "Just give me the little wrench."
He was going to let it fly. Let's go.
I've held it in long enough.
I've held it long enough. Just give me the little wrench, because we were all miserable, and he just let her fly. Yeah, it was.
Way to take a hit for the team, Steve.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was funny. It really was. So I forget why I was telling the story. Where was I?
Well, you
coming down
began
the-
with fellowship.
Oh, that's
You
right. This
know,
fellowship that we
yeah.
have, and we have this camaraderie. It's just great. Nobody's ever going to get the little wrench on this particular ride in this group, just because we spend so much time together and all that. And we've had some really great times as far as devotion and thought-provoking type stuff. You know, in the evenings we sit around. I can remember in years past talking about some pretty, asking the guys to share some personal spiritual things, and to the point where there's tears shed, and it's pretty cool. So on this particular trip, I asked them a question just to get them to start thinking. I asked them, I said, in the Old Testament when they traveled around in that tent, and they had one special place in it that there was like the curtains were 7 layers thick, about 7 inches, made all this thing. I said, what was that room called? And somebody said, the holy place? And I said, yep, exactly, it was the holy place. Then I explained a little bit about what happens in the holy place. I asked them a question. I said, well, what's in that room? And eventually got around to somebody said, a box. I said, yep, the Ark of the Covenant. And then I asked them, so what's in the Ark of the Covenant? And they had a really tough time with that. In fact, nobody knew all 3.
Correct.
Correct.
We got some.
Got a couple of them.
Not
with
everything.
some coaching and some encouragement. But everybody, not everybody. The first guess was the 10 Commandments. And we're like, yep, bingo, that's right. That was in there. And what was next? And we got to the staff of Aaron that budded. And then we get to the jar of manna is in there. So we get that. So that's all in there. So then I explained. The next day I said, hey, you guys, referring back to that holy thing, I said, the high priest would go in there once a year. The last time I said, who goes in there? And they said, just the priests. And I said, no, wrong answer. Not just the priest, just a priest. Once a year. Explain the whole deal how. And then somebody said, yeah, they had to have a rope tied around his ankle. I said, yeah, they did. And around the bottom of the hem of his garment was a pomegranate and a bell. If he had not prepared himself in the way that God had prescribed to cover his sin, he would die if he went in there, because God cannot be in the presence of sin. That's an amazing thing to think about. God cannot be in the presence of sin. Jesus is dying on the cross, takes upon himself the sin of the world, and he says, Father, why have you forsaken me? Because God removed himself from that situation. So they go in there. And then I explained the difference between atonement and propitiation. So the priest would throw blood on the top, which was a covering and atonement for the sins of the people for the year. But then I waited till the next day. I said, hey, by the way, I said, you guys, thinking about that Holy of Holy place, the Ark of the Covenant, everything that's in there. When Jesus died, do you remember what happened? And they all knew the answer to this. They all said, yeah, that veil tore. I said, yep, that thing was really thick. It didn't tear because of a strong wind. It was like the hand of God tore it, which is very symbolic. That Jesus said, it is finished, and the veil tore from the top to the bottom. And I said, do you know what the children of Israel did the day after that happened? Silence. Nobody had a clue. Nobody's ever talked about it. What they did the day after it tore was they fixed it. They sewed it back together, and they resumed their religion just like they always have.
Like nothing had happened.
Like nothing had happened. And that was the whole lesson I was working towards, to get them, and me too, to get us all to realize and see. Sometimes we go through the motions of our religion, and we forget to engage in the relationship. The Pharisees, Jesus, that was his biggest frustration with them. They were going through all these religious motions. They had all the stuff right, but their heart wasn't connected to it. So to this day, or right after that day, the Jewish people, they just picked up right where they left off. They fixed the curtain, and they went in there, and guess what? They did not realize that the presence of God was no longer there. Because the presence of God, when that temple veil tore, that was symbolic of the fact that now God's presence is everywhere and available to everyone. And so then I asked the guys a question. Do you think God has 2 different classes of people? 2 different classes of children? And they all looked at me and said, no, not the nature of God. I said, exactly. We have always had this idea that, well, the Jews are God's favorite people. No, in the Old Testament they were. He was looking for a standard for a people that would represent him, just like now he wants all of us children, Jewish believers, Christian believers, to radiate his love and life to a lost world in the same way. God doesn't, where we get off on this idea of the Jews, as Christians especially, it befuddles me. We somehow put them on a pedestal. They think there's something special, inherent about that being Jewish. It's like, no, we cherish them. And if anybody's listening to me right now, no way, shape, or form am I even thinking or suggesting that there should be any anti-Semitism. I don't believe in that at all. I'm not trying to say they should be persecuted in any way. In fact, never. If anything, there is this wonderful historic landmark that God used them to bring Jesus into the world. I mean, so I have a great appreciation.
That's different.
Than
Christians today becoming new Jews.
They think that there's something inherently valuable about wearing the little yarmulke, the hat, and celebrating all the Jewish holidays, and they're going to try to reproduce all this Jewish stuff. When Jesus said, in Colossians, Paul wrote, said, hey, there's no longer Jew nor free, slave or servant. It's like, no, there is no longer that. That temple veil, that veil tore. That religion at that moment was history.
Yeah.
It was gone.
We have a difficult time, I think, by and large, embracing the fullness of the liberty that Jesus made available for us. It's like we're comfortable in our
We like religion.
Comfortable prison.
Yeah, we like religion. We like rules and rituals and all that stuff. We like the trinkets. We like the busyness. In fact, real often, over the years, I've noticed we go to church growth seminars, and they're really, all they talk about is how to do church better. We have gotten really good at doing church. You look around today, there are some churches that do church so well, it's like walking in a concert. You know, the presentation is wonderful. The acoustics and the trons, the screens, the cameras, the clockwork, they run it like a show. It's just like, phew. We know how to do church, but we do not know how to get a hold of the presence of God. And there is a difference. And
that's a bigger problem.
There's a big problem.
To do without.
Because you can do church, and it can be wonderful, and it can be appealing to the flesh. But if there's no God in it, if the temple veil is tore, and we're just going through the motions, and we don't recognize it, it's terrible. It reminds me of two things. Like Samson, when he had sinned, playing with the presence of God. And one of the saddest passages of scriptures, he said to Delilah, I will go out and shake myself as at other times. And the Bible says, I think it's verse 20, it says, and he did not know the Spirit of God had left him.
Yeah.
What a frightening thing.
Yeah.
To be going through all the motions, and I think far too many religious leaders today, especially the higher up in authority you get, they're not God seekers. They're just God administrators. They just keep the thing going, and they just do religious stuff.
You really do have to beware of how big the organization you create, because you can be distracted by running the organization instead of tending the presence of God.
The presence of God. Yes. So I said there reminds me of two things. One was Samson, and right now, I love my age. I just forgot what the second one was, and I really wanted to use that as an illustration, because this idea that that you're just going through the motions and you don't even realize that nothing's there. Let's see. Samson was the one illustration, and now.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second here, because I heard a quote many years ago. It's always stuck with me, and I'll always remember it, and it just goes like this. Far too many people confuse doing church work with doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And we serve the church, but we don't serve Christ. And there is a big difference. We can do. Oh, I know what the second one was when Martin Luther was being challenged by Pope Leo, when he was, protesting against the sale of indulgences and buying your way into heaven and all that. And the indictment in this particular discourse that they had with each other, the Pope said to Martin Luther, he said, no longer making a reference to Peter with the beggar at the gate. And, he says, and he was begging for money, and Peter said, hey, silver and gold have we none, but that which we have in the name of Jesus Christ, be healed. And the guy was healed and gets up and walks. All right? Okay, so Martin Luther and the Pope are in this discussion, and the Pope says to Martin Luther, no longer can the church say, because Martin Luther was just so upset at all this money the church was taking in, just to fool people that you can buy your way into heaven. And so the Pope says, no longer can the church say, silver and gold have we none. And Martin Luther said to him, and no longer can you say, rise up and walk.
Ooh. Ouch.
And I think that's the difference when that veil tore. That's exactly it. They just fixed it and went on like normal. When that at that moment became dead.
Okay.
Gone.
In the little bit of time we have left, Pastor Mike, how do we keep the presence of God?
It really is constantly checking ourselves, putting a relationship with God and making it real, making it move from the 16 inches from your head to your heart. I think having a daily devotion, being honest with yourself, speaking the truth in love, we grow up. Being a part of a group of people that you're hungry after God, you're seeking after God. If you go to church week after week and you're not convicted, then something's wrong. You need to be convicted. I've been a Christian for many, many years, and I constantly run into things in the Bible that upset me, bother me. I am triggered because I'm not there yet.
Right.
It's challenging us. Wow. Heavenly Father, may we all strive to stay in a living, active relationship with you. We thank you for your mercy and your grace. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, I'll look forward to talking to you next Friday.
Hey, thanks for tuning in today. Please join us right here each Friday morning at 8 a.m. If you have any questions or comments about today's show, email wajc@yourliferadio.com. You can hear more from Pastor Mike at Maranatha's website, realchurch.org, on the Messages and Media tab. The opinions expressed here are not necessarily those of the owner.